what my aim here, at least, is to at least make it clear that what Jordan Peterson is talking about Marx is not what Marx is talking about. It's a different question whether Marx's ideas can actually work or how they would actually work. That's a whole different question, but we can't even get to that question when all we're talking about is straw men. These are just nonsense. It's Marx does not think these things. And there's almost nothing that Jordan Peterson says that Marx says that is true. This is continuing that quote that Erich Fromm offers us from Marx. So this is Marx writing about what I'm arguing could be considered a Marx's criticism of Stalinist Russia. But again, Marx lived before Stalinist Russia even came into being, but it's in principle it's criticism of what Stalinism was like. Again, Marx is talking about crude communism, the kind of communism that Marx despises. It says, this communism, which negates the personality of man in every sphere, is only the logical expression of private property, which is this negation. And he says, Marx continues, how little this abolition of private property represents a genuine appropriation is shown by the abstract negation of the whole world of culture and civilization, and the regression to the unnatural simplicity of the poor and wantless individual who has not only not surpassed private property, but has not yet even attained to it. So again, I think Marx is so much more eloquent than any of these other anti-communists out there. So my understanding of what he's saying here is that this kind of crude communism that Marx despises sort of negates culture and civilization, which depends on people being different, right? Talent, people with talent and a great opera singer. So if everyone can't be as good as she, then she doesn't have the right to sing, right? So this is the kind of stupidity that Marx is critiquing and saying how horrible that is. And I like this next line. He says this crude communism is like it's a regression to the unnatural simplicity of the poor and wantless individual who has not only not surpassed private property but has not yet even attained to it. So in other words, only the best communist would be like a small businessman who's actually succeeded and knows what it means to like achieve something. He's saying this kind of crude communism would only appeal to people who can't even do that. They just want other people's work. They want other people's, you've done it, now give it to me. So this is what drives me crazy when I hear the Shapiros and the Petersons of the world attacking Marx for encouraging people to envy and want other people's property, when I know that Marx and Marxists like me do not want that and do not believe that. And here's the proof in Marx's own words.
Yeah, it sounds very much like Rule 6, like clean your own room.
Exactly. That's the thing. So it's over and over again. I'm hearing Peterson say the same things Marx says, but he's attacking a straw man of Marx over and over again. So again, Marx is talking about crude communism, and he says, the community is only a community of work and of equality of wages paid out by the communal capital, by the community as universal capitalist. So that describes Stalinist Russia perfectly. So you have the state, which acts like the universal capitalist, the universal employee, and everybody else gets equal wages, and they're all workers. And this is the idea that Marx despises. The two sides, Marx continues, the two sides of the relation are raised to a supposed universality. Labor as a condition in which everyone is placed, and capital as the acknowledged universality and power of the community. So Stalinist Russia did nothing that Marx was aiming for. It did the exact opposite. In fact, it did this very kind of communism that Marx was railing against far more eloquently and far more passionately even than the Shapiros and Petersons of the world. He doesn't want just to become, in other words, he doesn't want it to become Russia Incorporated. Mm-hmm. He wants freedom from that, very, 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 from that specific kind of relationship between employer and employee. He wants to abolish that. Not cooperation, not hierarchy, not wealth creation. He just wants to abolish the idea that one person can own another person's labor and have control over the other person's fruit of their labor. That's the Marxist goal. So again, he's criticizing crude communism. He says, in this communism, universal envy, setting itself up as a power, is only a camouflaged form of cupidity, which reestablishes itself and satisfies itself in a different way. The thoughts of every individual the thoughts of every individual private property are at least directed against any wealthier private property in the form of envy and the desire to reduce everything to a common level, so that this envy and leveling in fact constitute the essence of competition. Crude communism is only the culmination of such envy and leveling down on the basis of a preconceived minimum. So, again, you can hear people like Ayn Rand and Shapiro and Peterson, and all these anti-communists floating around the world, who say this very thing about Marxists. He said, they said they just want to level everything down, and it's all based on envy and wanting more and other people's property and all this kind of stuff. But that is precisely what Marx was critiquing. He said that's not the kind of communism he wants, based on envy and this idea that there's going to be some kind of minimal. It's pushing everyone down to the same level somehow.